Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I got Josh Weisel here, my weather intern. We've been working hard today, and he's been working hard as well. And we've been pounding our head against the brick wall, especially with computer modeling. We're going to kind of show you how poor and how terrible they were today. Come on, camera. You can tilt down a little bit. We'll just tilt down just a smidge. There we go. Watched it pass here in Southwest Missouri around 8:45. Yeah, that definitely came through. So the headline, multiple storm chances ahead this week. I think you obviously know that's happening. We're already seeing thunderstorms and lots of thunderstorms. And so if you're just tuning in, my name is Dan Scoff. I'm the chief meteorologist of KNWA Fox 24. Maybe we're having some new viewers. I don't know, but possibly. Doubt it. But this is Josh Weisel here, as I mentioned, weather intern. Tell them a little bit about yourself. You're going to the U of A. You've already finished this year, right?
Yeah, so finished my finals. I'm about to head into my senior year and hoping to pursue meteorology for my future. So,
well, he knows a lot about it. So, got a job shadow coming in tomorrow. Let's not waste any time to show you what's going on the radar. My goodness. First of all, the models stink. That's just all I'm going to say. And they were terrible today. You can scoot in a little closer. I won't bite, Josh. The models were horrible today. My goodness, they were not good. And I'm going to show you how bad they were, too. So Josh and I, we were kind of talking. We mentioned how there would be a complex of storms from Kansas that would make its way in here. We had the rain chances. Then we kind of dropped them. Then we increased them. Then we dropped them a little bit for the earlier time frame. It was uncertain when this was going to come in. So first of all, I want to give some shout outs. Hi to Angie. Hello. Ann says, my dog is shaking on my lap. I bet you our dog is just chilling. She doesn't really care about thunderstorms. It doesn't really, but any beeps, like any type of beep on the radio or any type of beep on TV, or if a construction truck is backing up outside, she just freaks out. That's for sure. You can scoot in even closer. Yeah, here. Get on right next to me, man. And so, yeah, the dogs. I don't know. What about you? What about your animals?
I nicknamed him the weather dog just because he goes out and he loves looking at lightning.
Really?
He's fascinated. We'll both be in the window, so
heck yeah, that's cool.
Funny.
Well, we got a lot of lightning to watch. That's for sure, especially in southern Washington County. How about Janice says checking in from the Walmart amp? So funny you mentioned that about the Walmart amp. We had our hands full today. I mean, you could tell them it was kind of crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and when you're forecasting for something, it's even harder when the models are forecasting
nothing.
They're not forecasting any precipitation, and then when they do, the precipitation is already a couple hours ahead of what it was already forecasting. So that already adds to the frustration when you're like, okay, well, they've already advanced about 50 miles ahead of where the model's saying it, so kind of have to wing it with the forecast.
So if you're wondering why the concert started early, I texted some of the people, the management at Walmart Amp. They texted me and said, what is it looking like for thunderstorms? I said, well, according to the latest, it's going to be moving in pretty close towards the end of the concert. If it goes to 10:30, 11, you're probably not going to get the whole thing in. So they were like, okay. And then after I got done with the 5 o'clock news, I was like, you know what? I'm concerned. In fact, I even said I'm concerned about storms rolling in. And so unfortunately, yes, there was lightning. Yes, it did delay the concert or basically canceled it a little bit early. But it wasn't canceled completely. They just kind of shortened the set. So otherwise, Godsmack would have went on at like 9:15, 9:30, and they only would have played 10, 15 minutes. So that would have been not good. So I'm not saying that, I made the ultimate call. They also have another weather team that they check out in terms of AccuWeather Professional for business. But they definitely contacted me, and I gave them my thoughts. And, let's just say we made the right call.
Yeah. And you called it right around 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it rolled in.
9, 10. And I'll show you what I was dealing with. It wasn't a lot. So finally some rain. No kidding. I'm glad it didn't start during the day today. I know it was a great day. It was beautiful. Thunder and lightning in Farmington. It is definitely lightning like there. Let's see here what we got. Farmington is rocking, and says, look at that lone cell in Crawford merging into two. So something interesting with the cell that's in Crawford County, and let's go into that. So there is a cell that's moving north, and there's a cell that's obviously the entire line that's moving south. The cell that's moving north is a foreshadow of what we have tomorrow. It's a low pressure system that's to the south. We have a counterclockwise spin. We are getting upper level flow from the southwest. And what that's going to do is that's going to bring additional storms tomorrow. That's why those two are merging. Look at this too. This green line right here on the screen, that's called an outflow boundary. That outflow boundary is like a cold front. It's like a mini cold front as it pushes through. In fact, if you want to see what it looks like when it comes through, I showed this on our newscast tonight. If you missed it, this is a look at a time lapse here. And you're going to see everything looks pretty quiet. Here comes that complex of storms. We mentioned how there wouldn't be much of a sunset. Look at those clouds rolling in. And right here, right about 8:30, that's the outflow boundary that's coming through, that dark spot, if you will. There's lift along that. That's what formed additional storms. And then you can see when that moved in, you're going to see some flashes of lightning. You also saw some brief downpours and then some lightning flashes, and then the lights go out, and then that wasn't because of power. But that's the outflow boundary that was dropping south. Now there's another low pressure system that's to the south that's moving northward. That's going to bring widespread rain and storm chances. But let's take a little bit of a radar tour here and let people know what they can expect. So I'll kind of go through some of the comments. My dog went and hid under the bed for the first time in 10 years. How about that? So no tornadoes. You don't have to worry about that. Bring on the rain, just no tornado damaging winds. That's right. Keeping her muddy. You'll be able to do that. You'll get some mud on the tires for sure. I'm driving from Bentonville to Fayetteville on I-49 in light rain. Well, that makes sense because the storm system's already south of where you're at, Bentonville to Fayetteville. That's not going to be bad at all. Some light rain. Now, if you were going Fayetteville to Fort Smith, you might be encountering a little bit more.
Yep.
Quite a bit more.
There's more lightning with that too.
Yeah. I'm just happy I didn't have to water my plants tonight. Same here. It's like here, there's an 80% chance of rain while it's currently raining. Well, yeah, that's true. But it's not raining everywhere when there's an 80% chance of rain. Mm-hmm. So, just imagine, we're saying an 80% chance of rain. Well, there's the 20% that's not getting it right now. That's how it works, kind of, Roby. Let's see. Windy and wet at 9:30. I left early. Still a great show. Good deal. Why are cats meowing? My cat meows big time. When I get home, she's a watch cat. And if Callie, our daughter, ever sneaks in late at night, it's over. She's like a trumpet, man. It's so loud. That outflow boundary kicked the Colby effect to the curb tonight. You got it. It did. I mean, the storms weren't severe, at least not now, knock on wood. There is a little bit of hail that's just to the north of Winslow. You can see that near Brentwood, but just some pea-size hail. So this is good. This is good. A slow soaking rain, kind of using up our moisture for now. Any update on the KLZK radar? No? Yeah, that's definitely down right now. I saw that's down. I don't exactly know why it's down, Blaze. That's a good question. I'll have my intern check that out, Josh Weisel. You can let me know what's going on. Look at the radar status update. Sometimes they show what's going on. And by the way, you can look at that too. Look up NextRad Level 3 status, and that'll tell you what's going on, Blaze, with the KLZK radar. You see it?
They posted an update about 5 hours ago, and they said the LZK radar will remain mostly inoperative until further notice.
Inoperative. They did say that.
That's why I was like,
inoperative.
Haven't heard that one.
Inoperative. Where are all the cats at? I don't know. Think probably running away from the rain.
They heard lightning.
Yeah. I will say it feels pretty nice now after those temperatures today. All right, so now you see the storms. We gave you a little bit of a radar tour. Let's pause it right here. Definitely some storm activity in Boone County, Carroll County, Madison County, Southern Washington County. That's where all the storms are. Let's check it out. We got our WeatherBug Network camera that's basically right over these storms. Let's see if we can see anything. It's probably just coming down like buckets right now, so it's not showing up. Yeah, that was a great camera, wasn't it? 100% chance of night. Here, let's bring that back up. Let's go to our Cartwright WeatherBug Network camera. Let's see what we got. Maybe I can see something. Okay, there we go. We got something on there. Let's see if we can see any flashes. Corey says he found the cats. Just bring out the food and you'll find the cats.
Get a bag of treats too.
Any tornado potential with this system this week? I do believe Thursday, but not in our area. And this low that's coming in, it's going to have a little more wind shear, and there's going to be a little more ingredients. So we're going to have to watch potentially for a little bit more rotation in the storms. So, yeah, I know. I hear you, Blaze. At least it's not March 31st, and you had the radar down.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they got that up shortly before that event. I remember that.
Hopefully it can be operated.
Not good. Ooh, wow. Watch this lightning strike. Here we go. I think you're going to see something flash in just a second. It's a little delayed. Unless it's stopped. No, it's still going.
Oh, there it is.
There it comes. I'm seeing the lightning. Here's the problem. The heavier the rain gets, the more rain fade that happens, the weaker the signal, the slower the internet.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happens. All right. Do you guys want to see how bad computer modeling was today? I think you do, because I want to show you. And you got to see this for yourself. Okay.
Unbelievable.
This is pathetic, man. This did so bad. I want to just vomit. That's how bad it was. I mean, literally. All right. So first of all, this is what the model was showing. And we'll move this along. This is, by the way, 12Z. So this is what Josh Rugger had to deal with when he's forecasting the weather. First of all, where's the complex? Way underdone. Okay, so it got those isolated storms, but that was way too late. That shows 1Z, which, by the way, is that's 8 o'clock in the evening. Okay, now watch what happens with this complex. What? What? What happened there? It's gone. It just totally disappears. Okay, so let's just look at the next hour and let's see what it did. So this is an hour run later, and Josh Rugger is forecasting storms, and they fall apart. But that, by the way, is 7Z. 7Z is way too slow. 7Z is, just to let you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So it says that storms are just going to be knocking on our doorstep at 2 o'clock in the morning. Whereas this is where the storms are actually in our area right here between 9 and 10 o'clock in the evening. So way, way off. All right, well, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's give it a few hours, okay? Let's get to the noon update. So here's the noon update. There's the complex of storms. It's dropping southeast. And, it actually has rain, but it's 5Z. 5Z is midnight, so it shows the rain coming in at midnight. So if you're looking at trying to forecast the weather for a concert and you look at this high-resolution rapid refresh model, you're going, you're fine. There won't be any storms until later. Okay, so let's go a little bit closer to the actual time for the storms. Now you can see that, okay, it's showing, well, maybe there should be a cluster of storms that's already moving in. Watch what happens with this. That's midnight. We're at 11 o'clock, and it's more like here. That, by the way, is 2 a.m. Way too slow again. Okay, let's look at a different model. Let's look at the NAM nest. All right, so we're looking back in time. We'll go to the 12Z, which is basically 7 o'clock in the morning. This model was released, and look at what this does. What? Where do the storms go? It shows them in western Missouri. It shows them in southeast Kansas, but they just totally die over northwest Arkansas. That, by the way, is 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's still not into us. So the outflow boundary isn't even close. That's terrible.
It like pulls them into OKC.
That's horrendous. That's pathetic. Now look at this. And once again, this is noon. Okay, or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and look. First of all, it's got way too many storms popping up. So what this is called a convective feedback issue, where because there's thunderstorms, it's overturned the atmosphere, it's weakened the instability, and therefore, guess what? There's no fuel for this next round of storms that comes in. Well, wasn't the case, obviously. The storms had plenty of fuel because we were in the mid to upper 80s, and those storms didn't happen. That didn't overturn our atmosphere, and therefore, way, way off. Now, the reason we're showing you this is because you can see the low that's to the south. That is an actual focus for thunderstorms. And that's going to be lifting north, and you can see that energy moving in. So let's just see if there's any type of severe weather potential with this. It's got a little bit of a SIG-TOR parameter, but the instability won't be super great. But it's definitely got a little bit. Look at some updraft helicity swaths. There's going to be not much. You look at the supercell composite, it's just not really there. This is more like scattered thunderstorms that aren't just really all that impressive. But it does have some instability. The one thing that we have to watch is the upper level winds. The upper level winds there's a little bit more helicity, if you will, even though that doesn't show it. There you go. There you got the helicity with the low coming in. So Thursday morning, but by then there's absolutely no instability. So if there is any type of instability, let's see what happens if we look at early Thursday morning with this actual low coming in, which is when it kind of moves very close to us and moves overhead. Let's see if there's any type of environment that will provide severe weather potential. Boy, oh boy. In the meantime, yeah, I know you're seeing a blank screen. And the reason for that is because it's taken a long time to load. Pretty saturated right there. It doesn't look like a severe weather sounding, but it does look like a heavy rain sounding. Precipitable water is 1.53, so that's up there. That's definitely a heavy rain sounding. Very little, if any, CAPE. Yeah, just not a very impressive sounding. Well, let's give another model here. Let's look and see what that did. Actually, some of the longer range models do better than the shorter term. Look at that. That actually did a pretty good job. That shows 10 o'clock, the storm's knocking on our doorstep. There's 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's the rain that fell over 6 hours. So that does a good job. The European for the win. Let's look at the GFS. Nope. The GFS, this is what it says is happening at right now. So 12 hours. 12 hours from now, I can't even get the forecast right. All right. Meantime, that was a little bit of an inside scoop on all that. So let's get to some comments here. The bees weren't real active today. I only saw one here, and they were collecting pollen. Well, that's animals know what the heck's going on. Every single high-res model was determined for rain at 1 to 3 a.m. I didn't even know how. It's mind-blowing how bad they were. They were terrible, Alex. They really were. Mr. Bad. Alex Hall, y'all. I know. Alex is the man. There's a lot of Halls that have a last name Hall that know their stuff about weather. Ryan Hall, y'all, of course, that a lot of people know. Alex Hall, Zachary Hall, who's recovering from an accident. Did you see
Mhm.
that, by the way? That was crazy.
Glad he's doing all right.
Yeah, no kidding. Blew through here with nothing? Really, Alex? You didn't get any rain? None? Zero? Find that hard to believe. But maybe you were that small area that didn't see rain. Or are you just being devil's advocate here? I really got to know because that's kind of crazy if you didn't get any rain. I mean, yeah, and it wasn't a tornado, it wasn't super strong winds, but um,
Or maybe the outflow boundary passed and the rain hasn't made it there.
no, it's raining right now, it looks like. Waiting for the storm to get here now. Haley, where are you at? If you're waiting for the storm to get to you. H Town still getting significant rain. Yeah. H Town, by the way, they have a day 5 moderate risk, which will probably change, but it's a day 5 moderate risk.
The first ever.
So here's the deal, Richard. It's not my computers. It's the supercomputers that are at NCEP, the National Climate for Environmental Prediction. That's not my thing.
That would be nice if we could restart that.
Yeah, I would love to. Let's reboot. Control Alt Delete. That's a good idea.
We'll just give the ACRRR a break.
I had a math on. I had a math. I had a moth on my porch for 15 hours. Its wingspan was 6.5 inches, as big as my hand, and I have big hands. Holy smokes!
That's amazing.
So I've seen those big moths. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hopefully, it doesn't need any sweaters.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good. Rain for 10 minutes in Springdale. Yeah, well, it was a heavy rain, though. I mean, I know it came down. I saw some lightning. No, it's not supposed to get bad. Just some rain and thunderstorm activity. Instead of seeing my mug here, I'll show you what it looks like weather-wise with our radar source. So here's Heil Heat and Cooling Mega Doppler. And yeah, there's some thunderstorms. Go back in time. I want to see if there was any type of rain in Bentonville. And it doesn't go back far enough. I'll go on my radar here. Because I wasn't watching closely, Alex Bogard. I got to be honest. I do think it rained some, though. Maybe not, though. Let's see. So here's 2 hours. Here's a 2-hour radar loop. So we'll zoom into Bentonville. We'll put this into motion. And yeah, there's a thunderstorm. You're right. Not a lot. You got some rain, but definitely not as strong. The round came through. The outflow boundary came through. It popped up some storms to the south of you, but not as much. Springdale was not in the heaviest rain. I can definitely see that, how that complex of storms. But, people that were near Cincinnati got a nice little downpour. Siloam Springs got a nice downpour. Fayetteville got a nice downpour. It didn't last super long. There's no doubt about that. And then you can see right now it's still cranking in terms of rainfall in southeastern Washington County. Just raining here in Joplin. Yeah, Joplin's not bad. Mountainburg had a good storm earlier. It sure did. This was an isolated storm. Watch this. This is one that popped up right here, right over Mountainburg. This is what you call isolated right there. Look at that. James, right over Mountainburg and then dissipated. We were watching the lightning. It was pretty impressive, too.
I think they still got lightning on that camera.
Haley, I knew that. I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. Yeah, my bad. I should know that. And my bad. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I knew that, Haley. Just a little brain fart, if you will. They shut down the concert at the Amp, Sydney. I know. They did. They had to. There was some lightning. But if they kept the schedule the same, they would have shut down the concert and you wouldn't have had much of Godsmack at all. So, Richard Evans, the Derby day, you got to watch it because there will be storm chances. But there's all this very weak flow, very weak steering. And so you figured it's getting late. I know it's getting late for sure. So sorry about that. But I know Alexis is Western Grove too. I do know that. But yeah, Mountainburg got a nice little downpour. Harrison, you haven't gotten the rain yet. Speaking of that, Haley, you're going to be excited about this. And if you're watching on this Facebook Live, so we're getting a camera that's by Gaither Mountain. And Gaither Mountain's going to have a beautiful view of Harrison, of Newton County, of southeastern Carroll County. And so let's just say there's going to be some really good views right there. There you go. There he says, just got back from the concert, hit hell at the tunnel. Remember, I said that too on the air. I said someone said it was going to be raining. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, Haley. Cannot wait. And that's going to happen hopefully within the next few weeks. So it's going to take a little while. Bobby says, can y'all stop the rain? Heard of rain dancing, but we need a few dry days. I agree with that. No kidding. Perfect shot for storms with that camera. It would be. And that's an area that's very tough to see, man. In Newton County, Boone County. That's in our eastern weather coverage area.
And isn't that where we had that potential tornado a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, there was that tornado that happened very close to Western Grove, Pindall. Past Saturday, it was awesome. Cool. All right, so let's look at some future forecasting in case you're still on here, you're watching what's going on. So, Josh, what do we got going on?
Looks like rain, and more rain. Not a complete washout, but there's going to be periods where it's going to rain, it's going to move out, and then more rain moves in, and it's going to be a pretty active pattern, at least for the weekend.
That sums it up. Good night, folks. Honestly, it's about what's happening, and that's what's true. But before I show you the future track, and I thought I was looking for it because I had it in the shows. By the way, this is what the actual line did. It did fall apart somewhat, but then it reorganized just as it moved past Alex Bogard in Bentonville. So, Alex, I can see why he said it didn't. It blew through with very little. But let's work our way south because here comes our next wave of energy. There it is. You can see the upper level low. It's churning. It's moving. Now, there's a question exactly how this is going to move. Maybe if it keeps moving east, and we don't get as much rain tomorrow. But I don't think it will. You can already see that energy starting to lift northward. And then you got the thunderstorms that popped up. Notice that northwest flow, you got to know, right? Northwest flow. And then you'll see here, there's the upper level spin. There's the energy lifting northward. Now, you saw that cell in Mountainburg actually moving north. Why was that? You can actually see the flow from that low pressure system. It's a foreshadow of things to come. That's why that cell moved north. The outflow boundary moved south, and that's where your thunderstorms popped up. And so I do think it rains in Van Buren, Leslie. We have to adjust our hourly forecast because it wasn't showing up. But I do think that you are going to see rain. And Leslie, it's like camera's like, I want to focus on Josh. But I do believe it will. Pesky little thing. Keep in mind, Harrison is also covered by Springfield as well. I know that. But from what I heard from people that are in Newton County and Harrison is that they cover them, but, they're quite a ways north. And our storms are coming from the west, so for Harrison. So I wish you could pick us up on cable and satellite and stuff like that. Okay, so now that you saw what that low is doing, this is the weekend rain chances. Look at all these little pieces of energy, all this subtle flow that's happening. Hold on, Josh. I'm going to take this. This is my engineer here real quick. He's calling me back. Hey, Robin, I fixed it. Yep, all good. Later, man. Okay. On our radar bug on our TV, there was a problem with the radar updating. It was showing an old radar image, so I had to go and let's just say we updated that, got that taken care of. Okay, back to the rain chances for our Wednesday. What's going to happen? Well, the rain and storms are definitely going to pop up during the second half of the day. That's when this energy moves northward. Now, here's the problem. I was just talking about how pathetic the HRRR was, and here I am using it again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what we have to do as meteorologists to show you kind of rain chances. There's just going to be some storms that pop up. So here's a look at the future track and look at that low that's lifting northward. Now, remember that energy that was drifting in from the south. There's some isolated storms that pop up. It's not major, it's not severe, but there's definitely going to be some activity. So that's going to last all the way through Thursday morning. There's the low lifting northward. By Thursday late morning into the afternoon, that energy starts to move out. So where is the severe weather threat going to be greatest? Well, that's probably going to be in Oklahoma and Kansas, because if we go back in time, and unfortunately I've got a view set, you're going to see here, delete this, stand by. There's another piece of energy that's coming in from the west. Look at how complicated this weather pattern is. So set that, delete. There we go. Wide view. Okay. So we got that low that's coming in from the west. We got another low that's coming in from the west. That's this system right here. So that's that one. Then, oh, come on. Stop it. Okay. So there's that low coming in for the west. That's going to spell severe weather potential, I think, on Wednesday. But Thursday is when the bulk of the energy comes in. This is when I think we see supercells. That's got supercells written all over it. Mm. Are you doing some chasing Thursday?
Probably not.
Probably not. I bet you a lot of people will. That's an arcing version of supercells. And, the SPC outlook looks like a comma, and there's your reason. Yeah, right there. It literally does look like a comma. So going back to our home, by Thursday late morning into the afternoon, the storms are going to be moving out. And so I don't think it's going to rain for the Razorback softball game. I think it will in the morning hours. I think it will Wednesday afternoon, evening. But that's what we're going to kind of get. Haley's asking is this storm stalled? Check it out. Let's check it out. So, yeah, it has. The outflow boundary is continuing to drift south. Remember, that upper level flow now is starting to kick in with that low to the south. And so those storms are lifting northward instead of dropping south. However, this outflow boundary will probably spark off additional activity over time. I highly doubt it just falls apart and doesn't move in at all. And there's the outflow. There's still lightning. I saw some of it on our WeatherBug network camera. They cover Carroll and Boone County, but they aren't as accurate, in my opinion. Our last tornado system, these guys were on it, but Springfield wasn't telling us anything about it here. So that's why I want to get that WeatherBug network camera.
Be nice to have one all the way up there.
So Richard, well, I could show you that. How far could we zoom in on the map? Let's just say pretty close. Let's zoom way in. Let's zoom way in. Continue zooming in. Continue zooming in. We can zoom in all the way to trees right there. So that's the satellite. Now, as good as this satellite is, it's old. Mm-hmm. It's really old. In fact, yeah, that is Bentonville High School, because you look right here, there's Tiger Stadium. So, yeah, not too shabby. Close enough. But then you look and there's a lot of homes that aren't on the satellite. So case in point, if I go to the Walmart home office and then continue to drive west, well, it's gotten better. But all these are homes right here near Lake Bentonville, and that doesn't show up. And then also if I take Walton Boulevard, there's NWAC. But if I take Walton Boulevard right here and go west, these are all homes now. It's crazy how much everything's boomed. And so, there's the radar Yeah, it's got kind of like that the clouds over it. Let me get the clouds off of there. There you go. So yeah, those are all homes now. So the radar is a little bit old, and in fact, it's so old it doesn't even show Brightfield or Willowbrook or anything like that. That area has really boomed. So there you go. Is the weather drunk? Absolutely, it is. It sure seems like it. It's crazy.
And the models have been all year.
They've been terrible. They've just been absolutely awful for sure. So
10%.
that's the long range forecast. Now, throwing all those models out, this is what our forecast is. Rain chances are going to be dropping off throughout the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours. Then we only go to 20%. So a lot of dissipation after 3 a.m. Then you notice the second round of storms that comes in, and that's that low that moves in. And so we go up to 70, then it kind of drops down to 60. And then notice by Thursday afternoon, that rain starts to drop off again. So that's what we have there. River Valley forecast, we might need to up those rain chances. I have them at 20. It still hasn't made it there, but I do think it will. So now what's ahead in the extended forecast, like beyond? That's a good question. That's the one that we're going to have to answer because there's all those little pieces of energy, subtle flow. Look at this. We got the low coming in tomorrow. That lifts to the northeast, and then watch what happens. So we got storms on Saturday afternoon. We have storms on Sunday afternoon. We have storms on Monday afternoon. We have storms Tuesday morning, and then finally everything starts to clear out. So it's just a lot of storm activity that we just can't get rid of. We can't remove it from the forecast. So one last thing we'll do is we'll look at the radar. We'll give you one more look at the 7-day. We'll give you a look at the 7-day. Then we'll take one last look at the radar, and then we'll. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and we'll answer them, and then we'll shut it down for the night. There's a look at the 7-day forecast. So just to break this down, first 5 days. Tomorrow, storms are mainly in the evening. That continues into Thursday morning. After that, Friday, not really sure on the timing at this point. Saturday looks like more in the afternoon and evening. Sunday, more in the afternoon and evening. And then the rest of the 7-day forecast, Monday and Tuesday, storm chances. So I went 30 because Friday's not as certain. Saturday, the front kind of moves in. It's a little bit greater. That's why I went 40. Sunday's not so sure. And then Monday, it ramps back up. And then Tuesday, around 30 degrees. 30 degrees. 30% chance of rain. River Valley forecast, same. 70% chance of storms. 60% could probably bump up, honestly, tomorrow just because you're closer to the low. So you might be having a greater chance of storms. All right. So that's that. Here's the radar. And there's a look at the thunderstorm activity. That's beginning to wind down. But I think that outflow boundary makes it into the river valley. If it doesn't, I would be surprised if those storms didn't, for some extent, make it into Fort Smith. Another thing, too, for the River Valley folks, we got another camera that's coming that's going to be at Figure 5, overlooking Van Buren, Fort Smith from a tower, elevated view. You can see the Arkansas River. Oh, it's going to be fabulous.
That's going to be good.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Alex asked, can you show your cap graphics? Yes. Before I do, I want to show you something that was pretty cool that I showed a lot today. An illustration of the cap. So first, I'm going to show you basically what the cap looks like when you time lapse this. In order to do this, what you're going to see is, well, you know what? Here's what I can do. I can kind of draw on this. So I'm going to take the time lapse off of there real quick. I'm going to go to, just bear with me here. This is going to be in real time. I'm going to add a 3D model. We're going to add a plane XY. It's going to be on, oh, I know why. Position. Huh. That's strange. I don't know why that's not showing up. Oh, because I removed the windshield. Genius. Oh boy, it is late. All right, so here's what's happening. Ready? We'll make that transparent. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is some really warm air that is above warm, humid air. But the air in that orange layer is actually warmer than the air near the ground. So, what does that do? That makes the air stable. So, watch what happens here. We got updrafts that are forming. Probably can move that down just a little bit. And there is your cap. It kind of varies, obviously, but there's a look at it. You can see how those clouds bubble up. They just don't quite form into thunderstorms. There's one that does. That's a little bit farther in distance, so you can see how it kind of ambles. But that's a look at basically thunderstorm activity. So that's the cap. All right. That's a real life example of the cap or the lid. And now I will show you an illustration of it. So this is the cap explained. So you have that warm layer of air that's humid. It's a few thousand feet deep near the surface. But then that orange colored air that I had, that's the hot, dry air that's warmer than the air below it. So hot air rises. But if the air is not as warm as the surrounding air anymore, and it's cooler, it's stable. So it's not going to rise anymore. So this is what happened. The clouds bubbled up. They went into the cap. They came back down. Well, what happened to some of those storms off to the north that did actually develop? That cap probably was weaker, just a slight little bit. So we have a little weaker cap. Now the air is colder, and so the warm air is warmer than its surrounding air, and then that caused the storm to develop. But because there wasn't a lot of steering currents, as you can see, there was some flow, but just not a lot of low-level wind shear. Those storms weren't able to sustain themselves very long. There's no focusing mechanism for storms. So that's why those storms didn't really develop until we actually had something to lift that air above the cap. And what was that? Outflow boundary. That's right. The outflow boundary came through. Let's see if we can see the outflow boundary from Mount Sequoia. I don't think we can because it's at night, so it's not going to show up. But yeah, nope, dark. So you can't see it there. Solemn Springs, wonder if you can see it there. Oh yeah, there it is. So that's the outflow boundary that's coming like a mini cold front, and that's going to cause the storms right there. You can see it coming right in. Oh, you can actually see the clouds billowing up ahead of it. See that off in the distance, just to the right of that pole?
Wow. And
Yeah.
then the rain and storms picked up.
Yeah, then the rain and storms picked up. Time lapses are cool. Let's see what this one shows. This one probably doesn't have anything of importance. Boy, look at the wind shift, though. That shows you the low. Watch this. This is cool. So see the clouds, and then look at the low-level cloud. This is looking south, so that moisture is surging in from the southeast. That's the low that's coming this way that you couldn't see on the water vapor because it was mid-level and upper-level clouds. But that's why those storms were moving northerly in Crawford County. So it kind of all makes sense. And then you have the models that don't make any sense. So, anyways, anything else? Please show 3D balloons. Can I show 3D balloons? Let's see. See if I have anything that's balloons. You love balloons and you love puffy clouds, Richard. He sure does. Do we have anything that would have balloons? Hey, here you go. Just for you, Richard, some Valentine's balloons. There you go. Close that. Nope. Now close that. Nope. Not going to save that. So let's go into here. A forecast for my Valentine, Richard, just for you. There's some balloons. Are they really 3D? I don't think so, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, I guess they kind of are 3D. There you go. There's some 3D balloons. Michael, this is my weather intern, Josh Weisel. So Josh, he is awesome. He's been doing a lot of stuff. Tell him what you do as well with your stuff, man. You do a lot of cool stuff.
So I do weather for UATV at the University of Arkansas, and then back home in Dallas, I have my own social media that I run. So if you find my Twitter, I'll be posting back and forth for Northwest Arkansas and for the DFW area.
And he's better than some of the Dallas meteorologists. So tell him what your Twitter handle is.
So Twitter, it's JWWX225. You can find me there. And then on Instagram, it's JWISELWX. And then you can find me Joshua Weisel Weather on Facebook as well.
So Richard Evans likes puffy clouds, balloons, and squeaky toys. So
awesome.
Richard, this is also for you. I got Puddle Ducky right there. So
Awesome.
There's your squeaky toys. Yeah, anyways, that's some rain that's coming down. Puddle Ducky's definitely doing some tromping in the rain.
Oh, definitely.
No snowballs, no snow angels. But anyways,
unfortunately, it's not 2013.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like in May 3rd, 2013.
Mhm.
I knew Richard would like the Puddle Ducky. All right. Well, I think that's about it, guys. One last look at the radar, and we'll shut it down. And of course, we'll continue to show you more and more and more storm chances ahead, and we'll watch it. Boy, Dallas is not down or not up as much. Seattle's coming back.
Oh,
that was close. Storming in Huntsville. Yes, it is. Did our Huntsville camera come back?
Nope.
No.
Still down.
Maybe if I reset it.
Hopefully it wasn't hit by
Let's
lightning.
see. I think our Huntsville Weatherbug Network camera went down. Unfortunately. We actually had a lot of cameras drop down and drop out. Oh, Dallas just scored. That's going to be the end of it. Wow. We're watching hockey, by the way. Camera's disconnected. Mount Sequoia also disconnected. No, we got to get those back online. Well, any last words? Oh, there you go. With hard winds. Storming in Huntsville. Finally, it's coming in. Still hearing lots of thunder in Elkins. Find me, JW, WX225. 225 is your area code, right? Or what is that? Does that have any relation?
No, it's kind of a funny story. So I used to watch the Weather Channel religiously when I was like 6 or 7, and the channel was 225. So I just
very cool. You remember Weather Classroom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved watching it. Weather Classroom was on at like 2 a.m. And so I would like sneak out of bed and go downstairs and watch Weather Classroom and make sure that my mom didn't know I was up.
That's awesome. Yeah, the AT&T used to have like their own special channels that you could actually click, and they'd have like all the options for the shows.
Yeah.
Click on an individual forecast.
That's pretty cool. Reason you're hearing thunder, it's going right here. Oh, okay, Michael. Yeah, good idea. Oh, thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that so much. You're very welcome. And yes, we do care, and we want to get it as accurate as possible. Which, by the way, I better put those weather rate numbers in ASAP, or I'm going to run out of time. Here's your forecast. Michael, rain and storm chances going to be ramping up throughout the second half of the day tomorrow. So not as much in the morning, but early afternoon and evening, that's when the storm chances really start cranking back up. So that's what we're going to have to watch. And then that's going to continue into Thursday as well with that low drifting north. So All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care. Appreciate all the comments and maybe a Pikachu graphic for Richard in the future. Take care, guys. God bless, and we'll see you later.